start with...
Dong Dandy action-packed wrestling show. Jim Davies here at ringside with Bulldog Bob Brown. Ed Whalen is off in the Far East. Your regular host not here tonight.
Oh, why don't you knock it off, Jim Davis? Why don't you tell the people that this is the second week of a 3-week suspension? You know darn well that Ed Whalen won't be here for 3 weeks due to the interference along with Stewart in a match about 3 weeks ago.
Utter garbage. Ed is away on business and holidays. There are some great matches on tap for tonight. One of those matches for the North American Heavyweight Championship, pitting the champion, Lethal Larry Cameron, against Chris Benoit. Who do you like in that bout?
Well, I certainly like the champion. You got to go with the champion. When you're talking about Chris Benoit, you're talking about a fine, outstanding athlete. But then again, he's moving up to the heavyweight class, and I think he's choosing a little bit more than he can do with.
Okay, and there's one other bout I'm really looking forward to. That is a grudge match between Kerry Brown and Bruce Hart, and the beautiful part about it, this man, Bulldog Bob Brown, will be handcuffed at ringside. You won't be able to interfere.
Well, I think it's humiliation and embarrassment to handcuff a great, outstanding announcer like Bulldog Bob Brown, outstanding athlete, and I'm going to find out if I can do something about it to get me without being handcuffed.
Okay, you're outstanding in your field, a hay field. I got to say one thing. We've got a lot of calls from people to show once again what happened in the locker room after a bout that Bulldog Bob Brown did interfere with. He hit the Dynamite Kid on the back of the head in a chain match. There was a chain match, Dynamite Kid against Johnny Smith. Davy Boy Smith wound up with that cane. He took it away from you.
Sure it was me?
I am sure. We saw what happened in the dressing room afterwards. We want to see it one more time. All the wrestling fans have requested to see this confrontation that has split apart the British Bulldogs. Let's have a look at what happened in that dressing room. There are some things you always take for granted in life, and one of those things is the unity and friendship of the British Bulldogs. This is Jim Davies in the Stampede Wrestling locker room, and there was a terrible misunderstanding in that last bout. Dynamite Kid thought that Davy Boy Smith had ambushed him.
Wait 1 minute. I didn't think for 1 second it was Davy Boy Smith. I know for a fact it was Davy Boy Smith who come to the ring and hit me over the head with a stick. Why, I don't know. But my own belief is, Davy Boy Smith, you are jealous of the Dynamite Kid. You've been jealous from the Dynamite Kid from day one. It was only 2 days ago when I spoke to the good Lord Almighty himself. The good Lord John Foley. He said, kid, never trust David Boy Smith. He told me that 7, 8, 9 years ago. David Boy, you try to double-cross me. I was in that ring. I spilled my blood with Johnny Smith. He spilled his blood. The match had nothing whatsoever to do with you. But no, you had to come in, hit me over the head with a stick.
You're making a mistake.
I'm not making no mistake. I did not touch him with that stick. Everybody in the arena knows it was Bob Brown. Why would I hit you with a stick? Listen, why was family tell lies? Johnny Smith told me.
Johnny Smith.
You're just a dirty low-life liar. 2,000 people in the arena saw you whack Dynamite with a cane. I saw you whack him with it. I know you whacked him with it. You just...
He did not.
Yeah, he did. You whacked him right on the back of the head. You interfered in the match. You should kept your nose out of him. You've always been right on the Dynamite team.
Family does not tell lies. Johnny Smith is my family, and as from now, you are not.
Holy... We need some help in here. We need some help. They're going after Davy Boy Smith. Johnny Smith and Dynamite Kid after Davy Boy. Here comes Chris Benoit. It's mayhem. Benoit gets slammed down. Now it's Smith. They're going after Benoit. Dynamite Kid and Johnny Smith. We need more help in here. Ron Ritchie. This is insanity. This is insanity. Obviously, Davy Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid are finished. That is exactly what happened in the dressing room after that blatant interference had split apart the British Bulldogs. We will be hearing a little later on from Davy Boy Smith and from Johnny Smith. Plus, we'll be hearing from the Dynamite Kid. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Well, certainly a lot of the promotion here and a lot of the officials had a lot to do with spicing up that tape, because what you see is not what I did.
Okay. We'll be right back. Let us feast the old peepers on this boat. It is Biff Wellington, the 220-pounder out of Lloydminster, Alberta. He is one half of the International Tag Team Champions. He and Chris Benoit, the Youngbloods, hold those titles. He's in there against the Cuban Assassin, the wily old veteran from Havana, Cuba, who tips the Toledos at 235 pounds. The referee, one that Bulldog Brown likes, is David Putnam. And this bout slated for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. We are just nicely underway in this bout. Bulldog, one thing about this wrestling action is that we don't show it all on television. In an earlier bout on this card, we saw Sumo Hera defeat Kim Shaw, and Sumo Hera looked very formidable in there.
And he looked very, very good. I like to see the match on television myself. Sumo Hera really came on strong in the last 3 or 4 minutes and went on to victory. But listen, we got something important, you know, in this big hour. You said, I like the referee. No, it's not that I like David Putnam, you know. Let me tell you something about him. He stays with the action. He don't let the match get out of hand, and he doesn't let anybody get away with anything. And that's why I like him. I think they've done a great thing when they brought in a new referee. Let's talk about the heavyweight title match. My goodness, Chris Benoit against Lethal Larry Cameron. Earlier on in the card, I told you I had to go with Cameron. He's the champion, and I think that Benoit is not in the same class. Now I know all the world's talking about being handcuffed to somebody at ringside. I think that's humiliation and embarrassing for me, Mr. Davis. Don't you think?
I think it's probably pretty tough to embarrass you. Actually, another person I'm looking forward to, as Wellington is handling the Cuban Assassin in the ring, another person I'm looking forward to seeing, Ricky Rice, the big man out of Minneapolis.
Is he going to be here this week? He didn't show up last week.
That was a communication problem. He is here this week. We will see him in action against Jerry Morrow, and I'm expecting big things from Ricky Rice, a man who has performed so well throughout the United States.
Why is it that you and Ed Whalen always talk about communication problems? The only communication problem is that the talent is too tough there for Ricky Rice. And right now, we're looking at a match now. We all know what the Youngbloods can do as a team. What I want to see one of the Youngbloods do, how is he going to handle the Cuban Assassin?
Well, I think he'll be able to handle the Cuban Assassin quite well. Biff Wellington, a very solid wrestler. The only thing that I think could turn this bout in the Cuban's favor is the use of foreign objects. Cuban Assassin always seems to have something in his boot, in his pocket, hidden in his beer, hidden in that great big head of hair. I'll tell you what, no matter what it is, whether it's brass knuckles, whether it's a sharp stick, he's going to use it on his opponent, and it's up to that referee, David Putnam in this case, to catch him in the act.
You know, I've been all over the world and watched Cuban Assassin wrestle. He's won so many big matches, I can't even mention them all. I have never at one time did I ever see him use a foreign object. The guy's 235 pounds. He's got what it takes. Hey, listen, him and Jerry Morrow were tag team champions. Hey, they've been champions everywhere they went, so I can't really say he uses foreign objects. Of course, we all know Bruce Hart uses coins.
Yeah, on the back of his head, out of your fist, he uses coins. Rotten Ron Starr is another wrestler we're going to see on tonight's card, and Rotten Ron, responsible for Chris Benoit not being the North American heavyweight champion right now. He interfered with Benoit. He hit him on the back of the head just 1 week ago. That was the turning point in that Lethal Larry Cameron bout, that championship bout. Both men were counted out. But let's get back to the action in the ring. It has been all Biff Wellington. Cuban Assassin has been taking little vacations outside the ring. I don't think he wants to mix it up with Wellington.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a tough match. When you're talking about Biff Wellington, we know that he's capable of beating a lot of top talent. But the Cuban Assassin wants to get something straight. He wants to take as much time as he wants to. He knows when he goes outside the ring, he's got a 10 count to get back in.
Look at this. Look at this. The Cuban Assassin just invited the referee to inspect his pockets, and he put that foreign object, a pointed stick, sharpened stick. He put it in the back of his belt, and he was frisked, but everybody in the crowd saw that he was armed with a foreign object. Whoa! We are looking at Biff Wellington, the 220-pounder out of Lloydminster, against the Cuban Assassin, 235 from Havana, Cuba. One fall, 20 minutes. Referee David Putnam. We are approaching the 10-minute mark. Most of the bout has been controlled by Wellington, but the Cuban has been coming on.
And I think Biff Wellington has just hurt his knee. Now, he's favoring his knee now. He may have missed on that second drop kick, and the Cuban set him up beautiful, just as a great athlete as I thought he would be. He set him up. Now he's going to take advantage of that knee problem.
Well, the Cuban Assassin has been using a foreign object. He's been digging it into the leg. It's a sharp stick. He's been digging it into the leg of Biff Wellington. The crowd yelling, "We want a ref, we want a ref." They're obviously not as excited about young referee David Putnam as you are, Bulldog Bob.
Well, I don't see. Listen, the referee can't see anything, everything, you know. He's only got one set of eyes. These people out here, it's very easy for a wrestling fan to sit back and tell the referee, hey, he's got something. But the referee has got to see it before he breaks it. He's got to find it before he finds it. And if he doesn't find it, he can't call it. That's very easy to understand. You understand that, Jim?
I understand.
Thank you.
If he don't see it, he can't call it. That's what you're saying? It's that simple?
Yeah.
Cuban using roughhouse tactics, and Biff Wellington clutching his leg in agony. That is the leg that is being worked over by the Cuban Assassin. And as a savvy old veteran, the Cuban sees a weak spot, hurts his opponent in one area of the body, and he just keeps going after that part of the body relentlessly.
I watched him about 3 weeks ago in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I tell you, he took the world champion down there. He waited for the world champion to make a mistake around the 35-minute mark, and that Cuban moved in, grabbed a hold of that Carlos Colon's leg, and I thought before the match was over that he'd rip it right out in the joint. The match went an hour draw, and I'll tell you, it was one of the greatest matches I saw. But he waits for his moment, and he's doing it right now. He knows Wellington's hurt, so he's going to take advantage of it, Jim. And what is this great sport called? The marquee says wrestling.
That's true. And the Cuban Assassin has been in this sport of professional wrestling for a long time, and generally he comes out on the winning end, although I would think that the favorite in this bout has to be Wellington. The referee, once again, David Putnam, asking the Cuban about a foreign object. Once again, the Cuban says, "Who, me?"
Well, I tell you the truth, I haven't saw anything yet. The minute I want to have a good look at this foreign object, because I've been watching this match for 10 minutes, I haven't saw nothing yet. But then maybe again, you're watching a different kind of a match than I am, Jim. So maybe you see it and I don't. So next time you see it, let me know about it so I can have a look at it.
Right. I'll sort of nod at your white cane, and maybe you'll see what's going on inside the ring. Wellington has been thrown outside the ring onto the concrete. Our timekeeper, Billy Hunt, has told us we have passed the 10-minute mark. This bout slated for a 20-minute time limit. We are halfway there. And look at Wellington coming back, ramming the head of the Cuban Assassin into that turnbuckle.
Very smart move on Biff Wellington's part. You know, he saw the opening again. Now he's got to move in. If you're going to beat the Cuban Assassin, don't stall. Now he's got him on the run now. Go after him. You're not going to beat him like this. That I can tell you.
No, he should have hooked his leg. The Cuban will not get pinned easily. Here comes a suplex. Whammo. It'll be a pin attempt, but he's too close to the ropes. You pointed that out.
Oh, yes. A smart man would just put his leg over the ropes. Of course, the referee's got to break it.
How come it is that when someone who's a villainous character like the Cuban Assassin puts his leg up in the rope, you say smart move? When someone like Wellington puts his foot up in the rope, you say he's a coward.
Well, no, it's better known as running out of gas. You know, Benoit and Wellington's quite known for that, you know.
Watch this. Small package, 1, 2, 3. Wellington, an excellent move with that small package. He puts away the Cuban assassin.
You know, this is certainly a big win for Biff Wellington. At the beginning of the match, I thought there was no way that the Cuban assassin could lose this match. I think the referee did give the Cuban assassin a fast count. I'm not sure. I'd certainly like to see it again. But then again, hey, he got his hand raised. What can I tell you? It's a great win for Biff Wellington.
All right, the big story in this wrestling territory remains Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid, the British Bulldogs, splitting up. We have interviews that we have pre-taped with Davey Boy Smith, the Dynamite Kid, and Johnny Smith. Let us have a look at those right now.
Let me tell you something. All those people out there in TV land, let me tell you something. 1 week ago, me and the Dynamite Kid had one of the grueling, most vicious fights ever in the Calgary Pavilion. And Davey Boy Smith, my yellow brother, he jumps in to take all the praise. And Chris Benoit comes in and ambushed us from behind. Well, I spilt my blood, and Dynamite spilt his blood, and now we're united as a team. We're unstoppable, and we're unbeatable. And I knew there was always one coward in the Smith family, and it ain't me, it's you, Davey Boy. What do you think about that, Dynamite?
You know something, Davey Boy Smith? It's a dog-eat-dog world. And the British bruisers just swallowed you. But what I can't understand and what I can't believe, after all these years in Stampede Wrestling, the British bruiser, Johnny Smith, the Dynamite Kid, and the Weasel get suspended for no reason at all.
They're just running.
I know why we're suspended. It's because you're a coward. Benoit's a coward. He's trying to interfere, but he couldn't get the job done. You couldn't get the job done, Smith. That's why we're suspended. But when we come back, we will demolish you, Benoit, and anybody who stands in our way.
Anybody.
You know, Dynamite Kid, do you think for 1 second, that Davey Boy Smith would ever step in the ring in Calgary or anywhere in the world and hit you from behind? No. So, Dynamite Kid, you made the biggest mistake of your life when you hit me. It wasn't me who hit you. It was Bob Brown. And all these people know it. And deep down, Dynamite Kid, you know it. But you had to give me a sucker punch. But that's fine and dandy. Because Davey Boy Smith is here right now. And he's standing and he's talking to you. And he's issuing a challenge to you. Also, even my own brother, Johnny Smith. You want to come back, you want to step in this ring with Davey Boy Smith, that's fine and dandy. Because, Dynamite Kid, I trusted you for 8 years as your tag team partner. Never one time did I do anything bad. But now, Dynamite Kid, you turned the wrong way, and now you got to face Davey Boy Smith.
There we had a look at what Davey Boy Smith, the Dynamite Kid, and Johnny Smith had to say. We will be right back with more wrestling action right after this. We have just had the bell in this bout. It is a one-fall, 20-minute affair. Fast Eddie Watts, 215 pounds from Winnipeg, against the rotten one, Rotten Ron Starr, 230 pounds, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. His theme song is Bad to the Bone, and this man is bad, Bulldog. He is real bad.
Yeah, and he wants to make a name for himself, and I tell you, he's come to the right place to do it. There's a lot of top talent, a lot of heavyweight divisions. Chris Benoit, Biff Wellington, he's got to get by these guys first. I think Ron Starr's got it all, and before long, I think Ron Starr you could be possibly looking at the new champion.
Rotten Ron Starr says he wants not one, but 2 belts. He says he wants that Commonwealth belt, currently held, the mid-heavyweight title, that is, currently held by Chris Benoit, who has been unstoppable as of late in the mid-heavyweight division. Rotten Ron says that belt is his for the taking. He also thinks that he could handle the North American heavyweight champ, Lethal Larry Cameron. That's another kettle of fish. But there is no denying this man is confident to the point of being cocky.
How good are you in quizzes?
Try me.
Who did Rotten Ron Starr wrestle last week?
He wrestled this man. He wrestled Fast Eddie Watts, and he almost broke his arm. before this bout began, he said, "I am sorry, Eddie Watts. I said I was going to break some arms and legs. You're the first one. I am going to break something, an arm, a leg, your back, something. I'm going to break it before this match is over." That is cocky.
Well, you know, you're writing all your quizzes and stuff like that. How can anybody in their right mind come right back and challenge Ron Starr 2 weeks in a row after a humiliation defeat at the hands of Starr a week ago? I can't understand it. Eddie Watts has got to have a lot of ability and a lot of guts just to get back in the ring with Ron Starr once again.
Well, Eddie Watts is rather inexperienced in the pro wrestling business, but he did have what you call humiliating defeat just 1 week ago. He was forced to submit by Rotten Ron Starr, and I think that was a blow to his ego. This young man, like all professional athletes, does have an ego. Look at that devastating clothesline by the Rotten One. Watts wanted a piece of him again. Just a 2 count once again.
You got to watch Ron Starr. You can't fall to his tricks. He's got every trick in the book, and he's got it down pat. And hey, I tell you, nobody's like him. He can come up with the maneuvers better than anybody I know in professional wrestling. And just there a while ago, with that clothesline, one of the most devastating that I saw in the last 2 or 3 months.
Well, he's overconfident, though. He could have pinned Fast Eddie Watts, I think, but instead he chose to showboat it, and that wasn't a successful pin. Now Watts trying to make a spirited comeback. Off the ropes comes Starr. Up and over he goes, and I don't think Starr is quite so confident right now. Look at that big leg drop. 1, 2.
I said it to you before, and I said it to Ed Whalen. When you got an opportunity to beat somebody, Jim, you should go in and beat them, because it'll always backfire.
Yeah, you do not fool around. You don't take your opponent lightly. You got to have that killer instinct, and Rotten Ron has that killer instinct right there. He was rubbing the eyes of Eddie Watts across that rope. Now he drives his head into that turnbuckle. Rotten Ron Starr wanting to make an impression on all Canadian wrestling fans. He made a big impression when he was in this territory last, when he teamed up with the Honky Tonk Man to be longtime tag team champions.
Well, he's made his mark everywhere he went, James. He's just a great athlete. He was in the Maritimes, made a big mark there. San Juan, Puerto Rico, made a big mark there. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Kansas City, Missouri. Everywhere he's been, he's headed off big and beat a lot of great talent.
Look at that sunset flip, too, and he got his ears boxed.
I tell you, it's Eddie Watts, you know, it's coming on. I don't know how long he can keep this going, but Ron Starr, he'll make, here we go again.
That small package attempt by Eddie Watts almost worked, and now it looks like Rotten Ron Starr wanted to take a break. Eddie Watts right after him, throwing him across the ring. But Starr making the comeback with a couple of big knees.
Certainly, you know, when Eddie Watts had his chance, he moved right in on Ron Starr. Should have kept going. He stalled there for about 20 seconds, James. And that gave Ron Starr an opportunity to get his senses back. And now, Eddie Watts is back in problems again.
Eddie Watts in trouble. We have passed the 5-minute mark. Timekeeper Bill Hunt advises us. This bout slated for 20 minutes. There's that flying drop kick by Watts. I don't think he caught too much of Rotten Ron Starr, but he's putting on quite a show, this young man. There's the suplex, going for a pin. Just a 1 count.
Well, I tell you, he's done everything to Ron Starr, and I tell you, he's doing a few things that I just don't understand. Ron Starr is letting him get away with it. There's that great arm submission. He's got it on now. I don't think he can get out of it.
He is trying to break that arm off. He is really working over the arm. The referee tells him to break it. There was a submission. I'll tell you what, Rotten Ron Starr, a very tough individual. I don't think I want to talk to him. Let's have Bulldog Bob Brown go up into the ring and have a little chat with the cocky one, the rotten one, Ron Starr.
Ron, you know, I said in the interview earlier on in the card that a guy would have to be the biggest fool in the world to come back 2 weeks after the humiliation defeat that you put on Eddie Watts to come back and challenge you once again.
Well, Bob, you know, it never ceases to amaze me, the stupidity of these redneck Canadians. I told the people 2 weeks ago
I'm taking no prisoners. I'm taking no names. I'm going to do nothing but kick ass and hurt people. Now, if this guy had to be the starting point, that's fine and dandy. I hate that. No, I don't. I love it. I love hurting people. It's just too bad that it had to start with such a nice young kid. Now, last week, you and all of the rest of these people here saw Beef Wellington make a challenge to Ron Starr. Well, where the hell is he at tonight? He's nowhere to be seen. He doesn't want any part of Ron Starr, Bob. You know why? Because he knows I'm going to break his arm, too. And as far as these tag team belts go, I'm ready, I'm willing, and I'm damn sure able to take them at any given time with any partner I choose.
You know, let me ask you something about professional wrestling. Now, we've been all over the country, and I saw a lot of holds in my lifetime. But let me tell you something. What do you do any different with that arm lock than nobody else can do?
Bob, if I told that, everybody would know how to block it. You know, professional wrestling's just like a game of chess. You got to know what move you're going to make. You got to expect a counter from your opponent, and you got to have a counter for his counter. Once I lock that arm bar in, there's not a man alive, whether he's sitting in the audience, whether he comes out of the dressing room, or if it's a man from outer space, nobody's going to get away once I lock that arm.
Well put, Ron Starr. Nice talking to the guy. The guy's got everything, and I'm sure he's going to be the champion in no time flat. Let's go to ringside and talk to Jim Davis and the undefeated champion, Lethal Larry Cameron.
The North American heavyweight champion, Lethal Larry Cameron. Big title bout tonight for you against Chris Benoit. You had a lot of trouble with him 1 week ago.
Well, you know, J.D., the little runt, he surprised me. He had more guts than brains. But I tell you what, Lethal Larry went done his homework. He been in the gym every day, pumping them iron. As you can see by the 24-inch bicep. Lethal Larry Cameron is here for one reason and one reason only. That is to destroy Chris Benoit, put an end to his career, and put the little man in his place where he belongs.
Okay, now I know that Chris Benoit is not the only wrestler on your mind. I know that there are a few others that you say you have scores to settle with or that you want to put right out of the wrestling game.
You know, J.D., it's a pity that the world's greatest athletes have to face guys like a Chris Benoit or Bruce Hart or either this funny-looking kid, Ricky Rice. You know what? Why don't they give me some Ken Shaw and some Eddie Watts, some real competition? You know, I'm going to go to the board, and I'm going to protest this, because ever since Lethal Larry has had the belt, there's been all kind of conspiracy and everything going up under the table to take the belt away from me. So, Jim Davis, Lethal Larry got to go back to his old motto. He got to be able to see like a cat and fly like an eagle.
Well, that's one man that can do it. You want to keep that belt forever, don't you?
That's right, Jim Davis. This belt is tailor-made for Lethal Larry Cameron.
Week of action.
This is the wrestler that all the fans have wanted to see. I am talking about the United States sensation, sensational Ricky Rice, the 231-pounder out of Minneapolis. He's going up against Jerry Morrow from Martinique, 238. One fall, 20 minutes. We have just had the bell to begin the bout. The referee, David Putnam, and the fans are electrified just by the appearance of Ricky Rice. What do you think of this wrestler, Bulldog Bob?
Well, right now he's showing off a little bit. He wants to show all the fans in Canada what he's capable of doing. Let me remind you something. He better not dance around like this too long. Excuse me. He might get tired and collapse. And Jerry Morrow sees the opening. And that's exactly what Jerry Morrow's doing right now. He's going to let him do all his fancy stuff, Jim, and then come back and pour it onto him. I think that he's a tremendous athlete. There's no question about it by looking at him. But let me tell you, don't fool around with Jerry Morrow.
I don't think Jerry Morrow is just biding his time. I think he was a little shell-shocked at the speed of Ricky Rice. I think he was intimidated by the quickness of his opponent, and that is why he got out. Whoa! Morrow slapped him in the face. Ricky Rice did not take kindly to that maneuver, and now Morrow begging, pleading, whining, sniveling. I cannot believe it.
And that referee is not letting him get away with anything. I like him. I'll tell you, he pushed that guy right back where he belongs. I think the referee's doing a great job, and everybody should write in letters, and let's get more like him instead of Wayne Hart.
Well, I know you're a critic of Wayne Hart, but the fact is he was Wrestler of the Year in this territory for 2 years running. He will likely win it a third consecutive year. Referee of the Year. I am sorry. Please excuse me. Ricky Rice going to town, arm drag, and Morrow already wondering, who is this guy? And how can a man who weighs 231 pounds like Ricky Rice does be so darn quick? Morrow, I think, is shell-shocked.
Well, there's no question, you know. You meet a guy for the first time in professional wrestling. Jerry Morrow probably has never saw this guy in daylight or night. And listen, I'd be concerned, too. Usually when a new guy comes in, you have videotape highlights of him. But when this guy came in, all he sent in was an interview, so nobody really found out what kind of an athlete he is. Jerry Morrow is finding out right now. But listen, Jim, believe me, I wish I was talking to Ed Whalen, too. Don't count Jerry Morrow out.
Well, I think that Ricky Rice has bigger fish to fry than Jerry Morrow. I am not counting him out, but I know that Ricky Rice has a grudge going with the man who is now the North American heavyweight champion, Lethal Larry Cameron. Cameron broke the neck of Ricky Rice in a bout in the United States, and Rice is up here, from what I understand, on a search and destroy mission. The object, Lethal Larry Cameron.
You know, I wouldn't have made that statement clear, Jim, if I was Ricky Rice. Now, when you play professional football or professional hockey or any professional sports, you don't ever let revenge bother you. You go in there and you do the job. But when you want to go out and take revenge on a certain individual, Ricky Rice is doing wrong. And Jim, you've been in professional sports all your life. You know that. Don't take revenge. Just come in and do. And if you're going to get even, get even. But don't come out and make bad statements like this, because Lethal Larry Cameron is watching the monitor in the dressing room.
Well, you're right on one point. In professional sports, they say don't get mad, get even. Ricky Rice, I think, wants to get mad and wants to get even with Cameron, but right now, he has to be a little bit concerned about Jerry Morrow. Morrow, no pushover, another veteran of the wrestling wars. He knows all the tricks of the trade, but he's in there against the good one in Ricky Rice. They call him Sensational Ricky Rice, and that's exactly what he's been, although right now, Morrow looks like he might have the upper hand.
Well, there's no question. You look at Ricky Rice. What's he going? Probably 235. What is his weight there?
231.
230. I'm out by 4 pounds. But you look at him, and I tell you what, he's a tall kid. Probably, what, 6'2", 6'3"?
He is a big man.
And you look at him, of course he's got to have talent. I'll guarantee you, nobody would get in the ring with Jerry Moore unless they got talent. And especially coming in and trying to make a name for himself and go up against a top gun right off the bat. That guy's got to have guts and ability, or he's dumb.
Big collision at mid-ring, and it was Rice taking the punishment. He caught a knee from Morrow right in the midsection. Morrow turning the tables on Ricky Rice, tying him up in the ropes. And Rice is down on the canvas. Referee David Putnam cautioning Morrow about some of his questionable tactics. There's that big headbutt. It has been said Jerry Morrow might very well have the hardest head in all of professional wrestling. Morrow picking up Rice, throwing him down on the canvas, and he's going upstairs. He's going to be taking a long-distance flight. Oh, ho, ho, he took too long. Rice got out of the way. Three-point landing on his nose and two knees for Morrow. Big clothesline. And Rice now with the upper hand. Up those ropes. Big flying drop kick Great drop kick. 1, 2, 3. It is all over. That flying drop kick, sensational move by Ricky Rice, puts away Jerry Morrow. A great debut by Ricky Rice in the territory. We're going to go and have a little chat with Ricky Rice, find out a little bit about him for all you wrestling fans out there. Ricky Rice, it's no wonder why they call you Sensational Ricky Rice. That was a great flying drop kick at the end of that bout. I think we'd like to tell the wrestling fans a little bit about yourself, where you've been, what you've been up to. Maybe before we ask you what your mission is here, if you could tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, Jim Davies, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Heard a lot of good things about you. I'll tell you something, Jim. I'm no stranger to the sport of professional wrestling. I've been in the business now for 3 years, and the sport's been really good to me. I was with the AWA. I've been in the PWA. I held the championship belt there. But I've come to Calgary Stampede Wrestling, Jim Davies, for one reason and one reason only. Lethal Larry Cameron. I like to call him Ethel Cameron, because I'll tell you what he did. He put me in a hospital bed for 6 months. He broke my neck. He and his buddies kicked me in the ribs. They broke my ribs and they were laughing, Jim Davies. And I laid awake in a hospital bed, screaming at night, because I could remember the laughs. They were laughing when I was laying down on the ground.
Well,
So I finally found him, Jim, and I'm after him. I'm not here for belts. I'm not here for glory. I'm here for you, Larry Cameron. You alone. That's why I came to Calgary. The greatest fans in the world.
I cannot believe this, man. He's coming out taunting you, and he's just adding insult to injury.
Larry Cameron, you may be at the top of the mountain now, but with these great fans of Calgary, we're going to push you over the top, and I'm going to be the champion. But I'm not looking for the belt necessarily. I just want you in the ring any way I can get you.
Lethal Larry Cameron, he's talking a blue streak, but he doesn't seem to want to get in and mix it up with you.
I think his true colors are showing now. He's yellow.
Lethal Larry Cameron shooting his mouth off at ringside. It doesn't seem to be bothering this man, Ricky Rice.
I've seen it before. Thanks very much, Jim. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've had a good time here in Calgary. The people have been great so far.
Ricky Rice, and I can see Lethal Larry Cameron at ringside. This man says he wants you.
Ricky Rice, you had your chance, you dumb fool. You came here, and you read about the damage that the Lethal One has done, and you tucked your tail, and you headed back south. For some reason, you feel that you owe these stupid people something. You feel like you come back and you got something to prove. I broke your neck. I did you a favor. I put you out of wrestling. But somewhere down in that stupid empty head of yours, you think you can come back, and you think you can do it. But let me tell you something. And let me tell all the rest of you something.
Look at this. That flying drop kick by sensational Ricky Rice. Out onto the concrete goes Cameron, and Bulldog Bob Brown is holding Cameron back. Ho! Ricky Rice, a sensational debut, and he is not one bit afraid of the champion.
He won't even get in the ring. He's got Bulldog Bob Brown holding on to him. He's afraid to get in the ring. What's the matter, Larry Cameron? Your true colors showing. You're yellow. If you're not, you'll get in the ring.
Ricky Rice. The fans love him. I feel like a brown bread sandwich here at ringside, surrounded by the Browns, Kerry Brown, the Pitbull, and Bulldog Bob Brown. Nice of you to protect Larry Cameron, by the way, from the sensational one, Ricky Rice.
Well, you know all the rules and regulations of these commissions. I didn't want Lethal Larry Cameron to get in the problem. I didn't want to get him fined. But let's forget about that. Let's talk about coming up. Me being handcuffed to Stu Hart. It's a little outrageous, and I'm trying to get the commission together to overrule it so I don't have to be handcuffed. But in case we have to, I'll tell you one thing that's going to happen. Kerry Brown's going to go out and do a number once and for all in Hart. He's not going to stop until he's carted out on a stretcher on the way to a hospital. This is what I told him.
Kerry Brown?
He's going to be handcuffed to Bob Brown, and he's going to be crying on his shoulder saying, please tell your son to stop beating on my little boy. And Bob's just going to laugh right in Stu's face because I've had enough of all of the humiliation that you've put us through over the last few months.
What is this here?
Look at this sign. This was given to me by a fan, and this goes to show you that not everybody is on your side, Bruce Hart. So when I lay you down for the 3 count, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to lay this over top of you, and the people will know who the true father and son team really are.
Okay. Do you think the handcuffs are big enough?
Probably.
I've got a big wrist, Jim.
I know, and a big head, too. I'll tell you, Kerry Brown brandishing that lovely sign, made, I'm sure, by an inmate from the penitentiary just out on a day pass.
What are you talking about?
We'll be right back right after this. We are watching the big man from parts unknown, the Angel of Death, 293-pounder, in there against the former People's Champion, Ron Ritchie, 245 out of Winnipeg. The referee, Dean Hart, 1 fall with a 30-minute time limit, and we are just nicely underway. Just a couple of minutes gone in this bout, and thus far, it is the feeling out process. Both wrestlers with a lot of respect for each other. They met 1 week ago. Nothing was decided. It was a double count-out. Both men now seeking to put the other away.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, they didn't accomplish nothing last week, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things accomplished this week because I think the Angel of Death is too tall, too smart, too big for the People's Champion, Ron Ritchie. Although, not taking nothing away from the fabulous Ron Ritchie, he's a great one. And when you think he's down and out, bingo, he comes right back. So I'm looking for an explosive match today, and I'll tell you the truth, I'll still go along with the Angel of Death saying that he's too much for Ron Ritchie to handle.
Well, he has to be favored, the Angel of Death. He remains unbeaten. He has been counted out, but it was a double countout. In singles action, he has not seen his opponent's hand raised since he has been in the territory. As you say, he is a big man and a very, very strong man. He has that lethal maneuver, to borrow from Lethal Larry Cameron's nickname. He has a lethal maneuver of his own, does the Angel of Death. It is that devastating claw hold. Look at that. Ron Ritchie taunting the Angel of Death. I don't think you want to do that. I don't think you want to get the big man mad.
Well, that's a very surprising move on Ron Ritchie's part because, you know, Ron Ritchie with those couple slaps in the face just might pay the price. This just might put the Angel of Death on fire. Look at him, walking around the ring, stalking. Look at his hands. Look at his head. That guy's a big guy. I'll tell you the truth, I wouldn't want to meet him in the back lane.
I don't think I'd want to meet him anywhere unless there is a quick exit available. But Ron Ritchie has no fear of any wrestler, and despite being outweighed by approximately 50 pounds by the Angel of Death, Ritchie is asserting himself in the ring, working over the arm of the big man, the Angel of Death. Don't count Ritchie out. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of courage, a lot of guts, and a lot of skill that he has gained over many years in professional wrestling.
Just getting in the ring with the Angel of Death reminds me the guy's got a lot of guts, but he'd have to be crazy. But I'll tell you, the match is going along just the way I expected it. I think the explosive will take place in 2 or 3 minutes, and this is going to be a wide open affair. I couldn't help but the smirk on your face when you talked about Stu Hart or somebody being handcuffed to me at ringside. Why were you laughing?
Well, I like to see, I was just feeling good for you. I like to see you with all kinds of nice new jewelry, and I'm sure those handcuffs will look lovely on your lovely little wrist.
Thank you for those kind words, Jim. I'm still trying to get out of it.
Yes, Bulldog Bob Brown not terribly pleased by that qualification that has been written into the contract of the bout between Pitbull Kerry Brown and Bruce Hart. I will tell you, it is probably just about the only way that we can count on no interference from Bulldog Bob Brown in the match, and that is to have him handcuffed, whether it be to Stu Hart or somebody else, regardless of who it's handcuffed, regardless of who you're handcuffed to, Bulldog, it will be a good thing.
At no time whatsoever, James, that you can honestly sit there along with Ed Wheeler to tell the people that I interfere. I only go to the guys' rescue. You know what Benoit and Wellington did. You know what Bruce Hart did. Look at his father jumped in the ring of salt. Hey, we have to protect ourselves, James. And I'll tell you, the only way we can protect ourselves is fight fire with fire. And I'm ordering Kerry Brown right from the start to eliminate Bruce Hart once and for all. And I think he can do it, and I think he'll be taken out in the house on a stretcher. I really do.
Well, obviously, we don't agree with each other, Bulldog, but if everybody agreed, of course, it'd be a pretty dull world. And it's not dull in the ring right now because Angel of Death is trying to escape from the head scissors being applied by Ron Ritchie. Referee Dean Hart tells him to break. We are watching the Angel of Death, 293 pounds, parts unknown, against Ron Ritchie, the former People's Champion, 245 from Winnipeg. One fall, 30-minute time limit. The referee is Dean Hart. And we are past the 5-minute mark, edging towards the 10-minute segment of this bout. 2 count on Ritchie. The big man, Angel of Death, taking control. It has been a fairly even bout thus far, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, the Angel of Death just now caught him with a big knee to the head, and now has given him the power slam, and Ritchie put his foot over the rope to avoid getting beat.
Do you say that's a good move?
What's a good move for Ron Ritchie, but otherwise the referee would have counted 3.
Exactly. It was a good move. Pleased that we can, in fact, agree on something, Bulldog.
Oh, James, you know Prince Rupert and Kitimat, you know what salmon fishing's all about. Steelhead, 45 to 85 pounds, 15-inch thick, king salmon springs.
Spring salmon, yeah, I know about that.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of fishing off the West Coast, and I'll tell you the fishing is wonderful out of Prince Rupert and Kitimat. And I imagine the reason that you brought those up is because
I'm going to catch the biggest one there ever.
Because you and the rest of the wrestling crew will be heading up in their neck of the woods, will you?
Oh, we certainly would. I'm expecting to do a lot of deep sea fishing and catch the biggest one and go in the record book.
Well, I envy you that. Deep sea fishing off the West Coast, round Prince Rupert and Kitimat. It is lovely, and it'll be a treat for all the wrestling fans when you see some of the great wrestlers coming up to your part of the country, although it's not necessarily a treat for you to see Bulldog Bob Brown.
And you know what I'm going to do at midnight? Midnight golfing. Yellowknife, high level, Hay River. Golf, I'm the greatest.
Yeah, you got a hole in one. Unfortunately, that one is your head. It is the Angel of Death brutalizing Ron Ritchie, rubbing his face on the canvas. Now he's pulling his neck back, all kinds of pressure on the neck and the back area of Ron Ritchie being applied by the big man, the Angel of Death. I think Ron is in a lot of trouble.
Well, you know, Ron's been being humiliated and embarrassed. Anytime a guy takes your face and rubs it into the mat, that's insulting. And I'll tell you the truth, he's taking it right to Ron Ritchie. But I'll tell you, he better not take too much to Ron Ritchie because, like I said, he's capable of making that comeback and winning big matches, and he's done it in the past.
Ritchie has done it many times in the past. He has been a former North American heavyweight champ in days not that long gone by. A very popular wrestler. He called himself the People's Champ. Here comes that big claw hold. But Ritchie got his foot up and caught the Angel of Death right in the shoulder area and knocked him for a loop. Look at him pick a low. 1, 2, just a 2 count. That was a mistake.
You know, Ron Ritchie's bleeding, and I'll tell you, he's picked up a cut. I know he must have hit that turnbuckle because I'll tell you, the top of his forehead has come is bleeding quite profusely.
Profusely indeed. And you can see Angel of Death wanting to put away Richie. Richie has to worry about that big claw hold. He calls it his death wish. Here it comes, but Richie keeps it away.
Too long. It took him too long to go and put it on. He had Richie out of it. Richie down, couldn't move, but he played around, and now Richie's got his wrist, and he may not get this claw up.
Little bit of showboating to the crowd might have cost the Angel of Death that opportunity to put that claw hold on. It is a devastating maneuver. He has put other opponents out of boats with it.
There you are. That Richie has actually got two hands on the Angel of Death's wrist, and as powerful as the Angel of Death is, Richie is coming out of it, Jim.
Here comes Ron Richie, a big boot. Oh, and he catches a punch right to the forehead by the Angel of Death. There's an attempt at a pin. Just a 2 count. He didn't hook his leg. You're not going to put Ron Richie away like that.
So right, James. You know, he had his chance early in the early moments, and he did take advantage of it. Now Richie's getting his second win, and he may come out of this.
You could hear the sound of that kick by Richie into the chest of the Angel of Death all over this arena. Richie, coming back with a vengeance, drives the Angel's head into that turnbuckle, up those ropes. Oh, a big elbow, and Richie is in control.
He certainly is. He's taking it right to the big guy. Really surprising me. There's 307 pounds flying through the air like nothing's happening. I don't know. This could be the upset of the year.
That small package maneuver by Richie just failed to work. They're grappling away. Richie gets the advantage. Puts the Angel of Death down on the canvas. And then a big clothesline. Richie talking to the crowd cheering him on.
He made his mistake now. He walked around the ring talking to the people. He should have took all this thing right to the Angel of Death. He give the Angel of Death a chance to get up, and you shouldn't do that.
There's the sleeper. There's the sleeper.
Now he's got to bring him inside, though. You know, he gets counted out there, he'll be disqualified.
Richie is outside the ring. He is being counted out. I don't think he realizes it. He's got the sleeper on the Angel of Death, but he's outside the ropes. He was counted out. There seemed to be a little indecision by the referee, Dean Hart, but he has held the hand up of the Angel of Death.
Let me remind you one thing. The people don't like the decision. But let me tell you what actually happened in the match. Now, Ron Richie knows that if you put a sleeper on a guy, you got to be in the ring. Now, he was on the apron. The referee had no alternative but to count him out, and he took the 10 count. Of course, the Angel of Death is the winner. A very big win at that.
It is a big win for the Angel of Death. Now let's have this man, Bulldog Bob Brown, go up into the ring and have a chat with the Angel of Death.
You know, Angel of Death, I couldn't help but say a few moments ago, you had your opportunity there. I thought you just played with him, but the guy is so stupid. He feels that he could be on the apron with the sleeper and not being counted out. I thought it was a great victory, and I'll tell you what, I just think that you humiliated and embarrassed him.
Yeah, absolutely there, Big Bob. I'll tell you, stupidity must run abound in that guy's family. How can you think you can win a match on the apron of the ring?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I don't understand.
I tell you, and I did get my hand raised, right?
Oh, yes.
But there's only one problem.
Yeah.
Victories at this point in my career mean nothing. Since I've had my bionic tendon implanted into my hand, I no longer care about winning. I no longer care about getting my hand raised. I want to hurt people, and especially I want to hurt Ron Richie. And that's 2 weeks in a row. Somehow he escaped the wrath of the Death Wish. I want to come back with him anytime, anywhere, and get one more shot. Give him an opportunity to join the ranks of the Eddie Watts and the Kim Shaws who were hospitalized by the Death Wish. Richie, count your blessings. You got away with one tonight, boy.
You mean to tell me that I'd have to sit back and watch you go through him the third time? I guess you would, and you probably love it if I know you.
Bruce Hart, they call them the Browns, but I think they're more like the Yellows. Neither one of them would enter the ring with you. You challenged them both. Neither Bob Brown or Kerry Brown would get in the ring with you.
I'm getting totally fed up with this clown here. Hey, Brown, I'm not going to hold anything. Hey, you always come up here with a lot of verbal diarrhea. Just step in the ring right now.
Let's not fight. I know down deep that you want me. Down deep, I want you. Now,
Why don't you get in the ring then?
when, right now?
Yeah, right now. What are you waiting for?
No, I'm not prepared. Hey, no. Now, just a minute. Don't ever pull that tie. That cost me money. Understand?
Cost you about 29 cents at Salvation Army, Brown.
Because me and Kerry Brown, we stick together.
Hey, single or double, I don't care.
Double
Tag
is
team.
what we want. We stick together as a team.
Yeah, I'll bring a partner then.
Ricky Rice now making an appearance. And you can see Kerry Brown backing off. Ricky Rice, it doesn't seem like the Browns want any part of either yourself or Bruce Hart.
I wouldn't want a piece of Bruce Hart either, because I'm telling you, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world today. The Harts are no good. They're always pulling stuff like this, 2-on-1. Look at the true colors. When both men get in the ring, they don't want any part of us, do they?
They want... Your main and final event, this bout for the North American Heavyweight Championship. The challenger, weighing in at 220 from Edmonton, Chris Benoit. The champion, 260 from Chicago, still undefeated, Lethal Larry Cameron. The referee, Dean Hart. As with all championship bouts, this is a one-fall, one-hour affair. I see you're sweating a lot still from that little confrontation that you managed to avoid, Bulldog Bob Brown, with Ricky Rice and Bruce Hart.
Well, you know, excuse me, Jim, I'm paid to do an announcing job. I do the color along with Jim Davis and Ed Whalen. I'm not getting paid to wrestle. Listen, but I'm not going to stand by and let Bruce Hart and Ricky Rice beat up a kid in the parking lot like they did and think they're going to get away with it. But they're not going to get away. Did you ever see such a humiliation thing that they've done to his arm? Did you see his arm?
It was unbelievable. It was black and blue. It looked like it had been almost torn out of his shoulder. I cannot believe that. And I would dispute your statement that it was done to Kerry Brown, your son, in a parking lot, because Ricky Rice and Bruce Hart just are not those kind of individuals.
Well, I know you were going to say that. But you know what? Nice guys, too, Mr. Jim, will put a knife in your back.
On that note, we will be looking at a nice guy in the ring, Chris Benoit, against a not-so-nice guy, Lethal Larry Cameron. And that championship belt, Chris Benoit wants it around his waist. He already is a title holder in two other divisions. One, the Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Division, the other, the International Tag Team Division, in which he and his partner, Biff Wellington, best known as the Youngbloods, hold those belts. It would be an incredible coup for Chris Benoit to have all three championship belts in this territory. He would be the first in memory to be able to pull that off.
It'll be number one in the world, because I don't ever recall being in wrestling for 20 years and a guy having three belts. It'll be the first time. And I tell you, he's capable of doing it. He's got to go right to Larry Cameron. To beat Larry Cameron, you must be at your very, very best. And I'll guarantee you, he's at his very best, because both of them come in talking to both of them before the match. They're all up and up for this match. I'll tell you, they couldn't wait till they get in the ring. They're having a few jabs at each other in the back room, and I tell you, they had to step in and pull them apart. So it should be an explosive match. And talking about explosive matches, Jim, next week, hey, it's all going to come down to Bruce Hart. And what's that guy's name?
Ricky Rice.
Ricky Rice against me and Kerry. The doctor said 1 week his arm will be fully recovered, and I can't wait to get back in the ring and show Bruce Rice just what I'm capable of doing. And you know what I'm capable of doing.
I know you're capable of lousing up the names. It is not Bruce Rice. You're totally confused, totally emotional. It's Bruce Hart and Ricky Rice. But I don't blame you for being confused. You're pretty shaken up by that little confrontation. Look at that tip up. Whoa. Benoit firing Cameron. Whoa. Look at Benoit go. And that is how he can win that belt, by using speed and skill to overcome the size and brute strength of Lethal Larry Cameron. Anytime it gets into close quarters, you got to favor Cameron. If it's a fast match with a lot of action, I think Benoit would have to merit the consideration as the eventual winner. But right now, it's anybody's bout. Very early in this bout. We are just in the opening minutes, and already I think that Chris Benoit has made quite an impression on Lethal Larry Cameron.
Well, he's shown me that he's got the ability to get in the ring with Larry Cameron and take it right to him. He's not backing away, something I thought he would be by getting on his hands and knees and beg Larry Cameron not to beat him up, but he's not doing that. He's taking it right to Cameron. So this should be an exciting match for people out there in television land, and something for me and you to talk about, because I think we're going to see the biggest contest in professional wrestling.
Well, it's already emerging as a great contest, and Cameron looks like he is surprised, and I cannot believe it. He is telling referee Dean Hart that he's being fouled by having his hair pulled. I would ask, what hair?
Well, he does have hair. See, you don't see the hair in the back of his head, but he's got a big bunch there, and he's got a big bunch in the middle. And Benoit is known on occasions to cut the corners, cheat a little bit.
Hey, come on.
You know he cuts corners. Come on, Jim.
Right now he's in a corner, and he fires Cameron into the other corner. Cameron shaken up. Lethal Larry Cameron, I do not believe, was expecting this kind of a performance from Chris Benoit. Benoit hasn't backed up one step in this bout. We are just approaching the 5-minute mark, and thus far, Benoit has been doing most of the pitching, Cameron most of the catching, although right now, it's at close quarters, which favors Cameron.
Well, certainly, Chris Benoit is showing me more in this 5 minutes than I saw him in the last couple of weeks. I tell you, there's something out there that he wants, and when you want something, and as young as Chris Benoit, you'll put in your mind, I'm going to go out and be a 3-time champion. And this is what he's doing. And the people are behind him, they're standing.
Well, Cameron was standing outside the ring, looking like he wasn't quite sure what was going on. I think he anticipated that his 45-pound weight advantage over Benoit would be enough for him to easily emerge victorious. But it has been anything but easy. Look at Benoit go. Cameron is totally bewitched, bothered, and bewildered in that corner.
I tell you, Benoit's been all over him, and I'm going to tell you something. He'll have to change his style, and he'll have to change it real quick if he thinks he's going to get through to Chris Benoit. He's got to open up, and he's got to stay on top of Benoit. And if he lets Benoit take an inch, Benoit's going to take 5 inches.
Oh, that big knee right to the midsection of Chris Benoit by Larry Cameron. And a punch to the top of the head, to the forehead area. He's trying for a pin. He won't get a pin out of that. Cameron looks frustrated, but right now, he's trying to lay a beating on Chris Benoit, giving him punches and kicks. Benoit pinned in the corner.
Yeah, that's what Cameron must do. Now, Cameron's taking it to him now, and I'll tell you, he'll soften him up. He'll put Benoit in his place, believe me. Look at that. Oh, if he comes out of this, it'll be a miracle, Jim. Did you see the way he hit that turnbuckle?
The whole ring shook. It moved a good 6 inches. I'll tell you, Benoit putting on quite a performance. Could he be the holder of 3 separate belts? He might have been 1 week ago. He might have had all 3 belts, except for the interference of Rotten Ron Starr. We are watching our main and final event for the North American Heavyweight Championship. The challenger, Chris Benoit, 220 out of Edmonton. The champ, Lethal Larry Cameron, 260, Chicago. We are approaching the 10-minute mark. This bout slated for one fall with a 60-minute time limit. The referee is Dean Hart. And how would you call the bout thus far, Bulldog Bob?
Well, 25 seconds ago, he threw Chris Benoit through the air, and he had to go 10 feet in the air. It's just a great move on Larry Cameron, and Cameron is doing everything that he's supposed to do to beat Benoit. Now, Benoit thought he was going to be conniving and get him in a sunset flip, but Larry Cameron came down, saw his opening, and he punched him right in the forehead. By the way, it was open.
Very difficult to pull a man over that size, 260 pounds. He's looking for a power slam. Benoit dominated the early going. Right now, it's Lethal Larry Cameron. Big power slam. Here's the count. 1. Oh, he's toying with him. That's a mistake.
That's a mistake, James. I'm going to tell you, the mistake will cost Larry Cameron this match if he fails to go on and retain the belt. He had the opportunity to get a 3 count. Now look what Benoit's doing.
Chris Benoit in all kinds of trouble right now. The sheer strength of Lethal Larry Cameron coming to the fore. He wants another power slam. Oh, a shoulder breaker. Brought his shoulder right down on the knee.
Well, he gave him a power slam. He's given him a shoulder breaker. Now I think he should move in and put him away. I don't know how Benoit can come out of this.
Well, Cameron throws Benoit out of the ring, through the ropes, onto the concrete. Benoit shaken up outside the ring. Referee Dean Hart begins his count. Could it be all over, that dream of 3 belts for Chris Benoit?
Well, James, I tell you, I keep saying this, and we harp on the same thing. Why Larry Cameron would throw him through the ropes to the floor, I don't know. He had Benoit in trouble. Go in and beat him. Because I tell you, you can't give Benoit this much time to recuperate without him doing some damage. And Larry Cameron, I'm surprised. I'm just surprised at what he did.
He pulls him into the ring with a big suplex. Benoit flat on his back in the middle of the ring. Cameron trying for the pin. But once again, he pulls him up just at the count of 1. I don't know if this is sadistic or if it's just stupid.
Well, you know, Benoit has been such a little smart aleck the last couple of weeks. Maybe Larry Cameron wants to embarrass him. Go ahead, get a 1 count and pick him up. But he could have beat him on 2 different occasions. It's been like that throughout the wrestling area, James. The crowds have been pouring in. They're seeing the greatest matches of all times. When you see Cameron, when you see Benoit and Wellington, hey, you're seeing the cream of the crop. Bulldog Bob Brown, Kerry Brown. Hey, no wonder they're packing them in all over the wrestling arenas. And right now, Cameron is just keep on going.
Well, Larry Cameron might have blown it. Look at that. I'll tell you, Cameron may have made that fatal mistake by toying with Chris Benoit. He had a chance to pin him on a couple of occasions, didn't do it. And Benoit now seems to be revitalized. A big clothesline.
Oh, yeah, Jim, you're right. What can I tell you? You give Benoit all that time to recuperate. You could have beat Benoit 2 or 3 times. He didn't take advantage of it. Hey, it's his own doing.
Larry Cameron could have been the author of his own destruction. Another big elbow by Benoit. Pin 1, 2, just a 2 count. Very difficult to put that big man down for a 3 count. Benoit picks him up, slams Cameron down the canvas, and he is going upstairs. He's going to go Air Express. Coming off the top rope. Whoa, a big splash. This could be it. 1. And Cameron just used those massive arms to throw Benoit off him.
Yeah, you're not going to beat Benoit. You're not going to beat Lethal Larry Cameron like this. You got to do a lot more things to him. And now Larry Cameron's coming out of it again. So here we go again. They each had their chance to win. They didn't, Jim. So I'm going to tell you, I think we're in for a long night here.
The momentum has switched back and forth. We have passed the 10-minute mark in this 1-hour time limit championship bout. The beginning, it was all Benoit. The next few minutes, it was all Cameron.
He's got a finishing hold on him. This is one of Benoit's favorite little moves. He may have Lethal Larry Cameron.
Look at this. In the ring came Rotten Ron Starr. He got involved. He's interfering again. I cannot believe it.
Oh, the ring has been full of popcorn. They're throwing everything. Ron Starr has just come in and done a number on Chris Benoit, and I can't blame him.
Rotten Ron Starr has no business in the ring. He and Larry Cameron, double clothesline on Benoit. Benoit needs some help. We have to get some help in for Chris Benoit. He's being pounded around by Lethal Larry Cameron and Rotten Ron Starr. Here comes Biff Wellington.
Oh, no. You think that's all right now to come in with a chair?
It was 2 against 1.
Well, yeah, but come in and fight like a man. Fight with your hands at this like the Browns do. Don't come in with a chair. I think that's disgraceful, and I think they should fine him $1,000 for bringing in that chair.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. He was just trying to rescue his partner. Whoa, it was a wild match and a disqualification. The title does not change hands. Let's go to ringside. Bulldog Bob Brown will have an interview for us.
First of all, Ron Starr, you want to come and stick your nose in my business? I'll tell you what, brother, you did the wrong thing. Next week, I'm going to have Biff in my corner. We got the belts. We're willing to put them up. All we want is you two in this ring. We're going to settle this once and for all.
Just a minute now. Don't you think that Ron Starr did the right thing? The way Cameron was working you over, I thought the match was over 10 minutes ago.
Yes, Bob Brown, the match was over. Cameron, all these people have seen me for 2 weeks in a row. I've had you beat in this ring, but you cowarded your way out of it. Next week, Larry Cameron, you could bring your big coward buddy, Ron Starr, yeah, the big coward, into the ring, and we're going to see how bad the both of you are together.
You think you guys are capable of beating Lethal Larry Cameron and Ron Starr as a team? I know you're the tag team champion. Are you capable of beating the two big boys?
Let me tell you something, Bob Brown. I'm not going to come out here, yell, scream, rant, and rave. Ron Starr, Larry Cameron, next week, put the belts on the line. Come on and play.
We'll be right back with Jim Davis.
Well, Lethal Larry Cameron, you're lucky that you have this man on your side. Once again, Rotten Ron Starr seemed to save your bacon and save your belt.
Get for real, Mr. Leprechaun. Save my bacon. You know you are talking to the world's greatest athlete and the North American heavyweight champion. Do you believe in the wrestling morons believe that Chris Benoit could take me out with a finger lock or whatever that is? I was just warming up. But Ron Starr saw he couldn't take it no more. It was getting so good to him the way I was just beating on Chris Benoit. I picked him up, and I put him down, and I beat on him again. And last to Ron, he said, I can't take it no more. Lethal Larry, please let me have a piece of it. So I said, Ron, he's all yours. I'm finished with him. You know, Davies, is what it all boils down to is the man had an illegal hold on him and he was trying to injure him. And like Lethal Larry says, I couldn't take it no more. It seems to me that the only way I'm going to get anywhere in this world, the only way I'm going to get any competition in Stampede Wrestling is to go out and make the competition myself. So far, Beef Wellington put a challenge to me. Did he show up tonight? No. He knew what was going to happen. He knew I was going to break his arm just like I did this other kid. Now he's got the audacity to come in the ring with a chair. Well, I got news for you, Beef. If you and this other little leprechaun that you're running around calling tag team champions want to put the belts up against Larry and myself, I'll be more than glad to break both of you's arm right here next week, and then we'll take 3 belts out of the building with us.
They have, in fact, said that they will put those belts up against you and Lethal Larry next week, Ron.
Well, you know, they're a lot dumber than I even thought, because I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, I told you last week, and I proved it tonight, I'm out to kick butts and take names afterwards. I'm going to break your arm. Larry's going to go out with 2 belts around his waist, and I'm going out with a tag team around my waist, and we'll be the best damn tag team champions since Honky Tonk Wayne Ferris and Ron Starr came through here as a Memphis Mafia.
But have
been a wild night here at the Pavilion, and it'll be even wilder next week when TSN Wrestling returns. But in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another edition of TSN Wrestling. Bye-bye now.